Now, there's another week delay to scheduled hearings at the state capture inquiry. Chairperson Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo is in self-isolation. This after he had contact with a staff member in his office who is COVID-19 positive. Proceedings had to be halted on Friday afternoon while former Eskom CEO Brian Molefe was on the stand. It's now unclear when the inquiry will resume. Reporter Michael Appel has been tracking these developments and joins us now. Hi there, Michael. So as things stand, what's been happening at state capture today and what's happening for the rest of the week?
All quiet on the state capture front today. A statement coming out from Reverend Zondo, the spokesperson for the Commission this morning, saying that there will not be a sitting today. And we now await any further pronouncements from the state capture inquiry as to the rest of the week. What are the plans going to be? They have to let us know. They have to let South Africa know what the plan is. We are in uncharted territory here, as the intro said there, the Deputy Chief Justice in proximity to somebody who was positive last week, and that required not only himself, but you can imagine it would be the registrar, it would potentially be the legal teams from Brian Molefe's side who may have met with him in chambers, the evidence leaders who may have met with him in chambers. So there's a significant number of people who he could have come into contact with who now need to isolate. So I did put some questions to the inquiry in an email, and I did get a notice of receipt. And the questions in summary, Sally, are we going to sit this week, a week that was set aside for the former head of state, Jacob Zuma, to appear? There was a summons issued for that. What is the status of that summons now, considering that the Commission is no longer sitting for the foreseeable future? We're not sure for how long. If the Deputy Chief Justice is in good health, in isolation, could the Commission proceed virtually? And will the Commission be making public the status of the Deputy Chief Justice's health, the result of that test, and just in what spirits he finds himself now? I'm sure a lot of South Africans are having a bit of state capture withdrawal. So they want to know what's going on. How long are they not going to have state capture on their screens for? And, of course, the former head of state, where does this leave him?
And what sort of answers have you got, if any, at this point, Michael?
Nothing.
Nothing as yet. All right, so let's talk about former President Zuma. As you say, he was meant to appear this week. We do know that even before Deputy Chief Justice Zondo had to go into self-isolation, his legal team had said, look, we are still waiting to hear if we can challenge the decision by Zondo not to recuse himself, so we don't respectfully want to be there next week anyway. We also know that that might mean a second charge is going to be laid by the State Capture Commission. Have you got any word at all on where we are with that one? So,
the former head of state's legal team saying there are two issues at play here. The first is the inquiry's own Constitutional Court challenge. It says you're still waiting for the outcome of that, which will rule on whether or not you can direct us to appear and whether or not our client is, according to the Constitutional Court judgment, if it says he must answer questions, if there is that ruling forthcoming from them. So that is still outstanding. And secondly, as you mentioned, the failed in front of the Deputy Chief Justice themselves. They did indicate before he excused himself, what was called a walkout in defiance of the summons, but before he excused himself from the Commission in November last year, they said they're going to launch their own High Court proceedings to challenge that recusal application, arguing you can't be judge and jury in an application involving yourself. So they're taking that to the High Court. They're saying, well, while these two matters are outstanding, we are respectfully not going to appear. And they somehow think that those two matters somehow stay the summons. The secretary for the inquiry said by all means that's a very wrong interpretation, and that the outstanding judgments on those two cases does not by any means stay the effect of that summons, and he would still be required to be there. Now, if consistency is to be taken into account, the last time he walked out, there was a criminal complaint laid with the police. That complaint then gets investigated, goes to the National Prosecuting Authority, who's expected to make a decision. That decision we still don't know. But with the fact that the Commission is now in limbo due to this COVID exposure and them not sitting, where does that leave? Yes, he wasn't going to come in any case, but he hasn't technically yet broken that summons since they're not sitting. So a lot of questions, Sally. We hope to get some answers from the Commission by tomorrow.